Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this evening's presentation. My name is Claudia Marciniak, and I'm the chair of the Opportunity Next Residential Committee. I'm also a board member. I've been with Opportunity Next since 2009, the beginning. It's hard to believe that Opportunity Next is going to be 13 years old this year, and I'm so proud of how far we have come as an organization and as a community. For those of you who are intimately involved with OK, we're wrapping up a strategic plan right now. It's a culmination of a lot of effort by OK staff, the executives of OK, the board of directors, the A board or auxiliary board, warriors, and the community at large. And we are really excited to have completed this work, which is going to set our direction for years to come. And included in this path for OK is its role in supported housing. So we're really excited tonight to co-host this event with Veronica Garcia of Suburban Access and to do our part to spread the word about what we're doing at OpNext in the way of housing, what Suburban Access is doing along with the state, and what we can all be doing together. Before we start, a few things I just want to point out for the Zoom meeting. We're recording this. We will post that recording to the OK YouTube channel for future viewing, if you so choose later on, or want to share that with somebody. We will be sharing links and materials that we've presented tonight in a follow-up email, and that email will be sent out next week. We'd like everybody to mute their speakers and microphones, please, so we have focus on the presenters, and we're going to save time for questions. I'll leave some time for questions after I present and then after Veronica presents as well. There is the ability to write in chat questions, so you can do that while we are doing the presentation as well. So without further ado, I'd just first also like to recognize the OK Residential Committee. This committee has been working very hard for 2 or 3 years now. The committee is comprised of myself, Jan Wright, Whitney and Jeff Gravely, John Edelman, Claire Downs, Chris Meglin, Zoe Philpotts, who's a warrior, Kim Mears, and Phil Carmody. And a former member of the committee was Michelle Mascaro. You may know her from Happy Apple Pie Shop. And I would like to thank all of them for all their hard work on this committee. It's impressive to see how much we've done, but we also have a lot to do. In general, we've been working for the past few years to explore the landscape of independent living opportunities for people with intellectual and developmental differences. We've gained a lot of knowledge, and we have an inventory of the supports and resources that do exist. And we've also gathered a sense of the supports and resources that do not exist. So with the work of the committee and the great interactive exchanges with families and communities members that we work with, we've developed a philosophy in our approach to this phase of the OK mission. We've built the OK principles in residential around the acronym H.O.M.E. Seems obvious, but there's some meaning behind it. It's housing, opportunities, and me. And it's a philosophy and model of service built on the belief that everyone is entitled to a safe, decent place to live in the community of their choice, with access to services that they need to help them live independently and as self-sufficient as possible. In this phase of our mission, we will work with the warriors, families, and the community to build innovative and independent living solutions. And as part of those principles, we have basically designed 3 major directives where we're going to focus our efforts. The first is as a service provider. So independent housing operates in a variety of settings. I think that, historically people thought of them, as group homes or things like that, but it could be a lot of different kinds of models. It could be a single person in an apartment, or it could be a group of warriors in a house, or in a townhouse, or in a condo, as well as even home ownership. The sky's the limit here. We intend to be prepared to provide support for warriors and their family in any settings and all settings that they wish to live. As a service provider, we remain in the process of applying for state licensure as a community integrated living arrangement. You may have heard that term, also known as SILA, as a SILA service provider. We had a setback in late November of 2022 that has delayed our projected endpoint. We're hoping to be licensed by early to mid 2024. It's about a year process. In the meantime, we remain open to conversations with warriors and their families about their vision and how we can work together to build opportunities for them. The second directive we have is we want to offer OK as an information resource. The systems that support independent living are often complicated and difficult to access and understand. The state is challenging. There's just a lot of information out there. You got to try to find it. And we're committed to establishing a place where families can go and navigate these systems in one place, because there's just a lot out there. And we're also committed to having a human presence that's available to provide direct support in these endeavors. So we'll have people helping. In that regard, we're really excited to roll out what we call HQ on the OK website for housing. And right here, we're taking you to the website. It's under the programs tab. If you go there, thank you. And scroll down, you see this new site that we have created, or subsite, whatever you want to call it. And here we built an online hub of information that's meant to serve warriors and their families at any stage of their housing decision process. It's all in one place, as the process can be overwhelming otherwise. It has a wealth of information that we've gathered. So I would suggest that you visit our website, find the homepage under the programs, and make sure you scroll down to the bottom, because that's really where there's a lot of things that have links in them. There's flow charts about the process. There's information about different housing models, checklists, funding sources, information about waivers. It's just a whole host of really great information. So I hope that's beneficial to people and families. We've also developed and integrated a self-directed curriculum known as H.O.M.E, H-O.M.E, that we're also using in OK programs that's meant to serve warriors and their support teams in exploring the prospects of independent living. This helps the warrior consider likes and dislikes of daily life and allows them to consider alternatives that they might not have thought about. And we continue to use that curriculum ongoing at OK. We have also shared that curriculum with Veronica for her use as the Suburban Access Lead Service Coordinator and the key member of the Housing Navigation Pilot that we're going to be talking about later with Veronica in this presentation. We think the guide that we've put together in the home curriculum has been very effective. We've seen the effectiveness, and we want to share it widely with the community, because other communities can benefit from it. And this curriculum allows the warrior to express exactly what they want. The third area that we've been, I guess, focusing on as an information resource is having interim presentations, just like the one tonight. And basically our purpose with these presentations is to facilitate a connection between the subject matter as experts like Veronica and our families, because we know our community can benefit from that subject matter. So this presentation tonight is a perfect example of how we feel like we can contribute, and we intend to offer more of these kinds of programs in 2023 and beyond. And then lastly, we see OK as an advocate. We've recognized an opportunity to be a contributor in the work of preserving and building new opportunities for independent communities, independent living in our communities. And we intend to join in on the work in progress and forming new partnerships and coalitions, which, you know, OK is really known for establishing partnerships with community members. And we've been doing that also on the Resi side. And we continue to do that. And some of the agencies and organizations that we have been teaming up with are the Supportive Housing Providers Association, the Oak Park Homeless Coalition, the Collaborative Community Housing Initiative. We were working with the Village of River Forest on the development of their affordable housing program. The Village of Oak Park regarding the acquisition and distribution of mainstream vouchers. And finally, Suburban Access with a housing navigation pilot, where we see a lot of opportunity. And we're continuing to work with Veronica on several things. And as she sees, you know, OK may be able to contribute. So I'm really happy to share what we feel like is meaningful progress on such an important issue for our community of warriors. Before I introduce Veronica, does anybody have any questions?
Claudia, we had one question about how far this program for OK reaches. So what communities are we serving?
Well, as we stand today, OK serves Forest Park, Oak Park, and River Forest. As I understand it, OK is branching out into other communities as we have capacity. And as a result, I would assume, I can't speak for Phil, but I would assume that any housing program would also consist of the communities that we serve in the normal programs.
And our website, this website link that I shared in the chat, that is helpful to anyone in Illinois. It's not just specific to Opportunity Knox.
Right,
so those resources correct. Can be shared with whoever. It's helpful
right.
for anyone who lives in Illinois.
Yes, please share the information because it's challenging for anybody in any community. So, okay. So now I'd like to introduce Veronica Garcia of Suburban Access. Many of you may know Veronica. She might be your service coordinator. She is my daughter Claire's service coordinator. And she's been with Suburban Access, which is a service coordination agency for the Illinois Waiver Program. And she's been there 7 years. She started out as a service coordinator and now is a team lead. And she's also a lead for the Housing Navigator pilot program, which began the summer of last year. She's been a good friend to OK. She's worked closely with our warriors and with OK on a few projects. And her current role includes promoting and educating our community on this new pilot program called Housing Navigator. So with no further ado, Veronica, you can take the floor.
All right, thank you, Claudia. Good evening, everyone. It's wonderful there's so many people that could join. So yes, I am the Housing Navigator for Suburban Access for Region D, South Suburban Cook County. Even though I have my service area, be sure if any of this information today you are interested in and you might not be with Suburban Access, make sure to get in touch with your individual service coordination agency, as most, if not all, at this point have a housing navigator identified. All right, we can continue into the next slide. So what is housing navigation? It's a 2-year pilot program that was launched by the Illinois Department of Human Services. This is to, again, gauge and see where housing needs are. States realize that people are unique. People want to live amongst the community. Not everyone's housing situation and desires are the same. So to help accommodate that and kind of gather where things are and where people would like to be, this pilot was not launched for that. So the goal is to help people find safe, accessible locations to rent independently in the community. So your loved one may be renting their own townhome, their own apartment. There may even be house opportunities down the line. You know, the opportunities are endless in this program. It is available to individuals and their families who currently receive services through the Medicaid home and community-based waiver. So these are people who have been pulled from the PUNS waiting list, if you are familiar with that term. And this includes any person that may want to live on their own or with other people of their choice. So if, for example, one of the Opportunity Knox Warriors would like to have a roommate, they have the opportunity and the flexibility that they might be able to have that happen. So again, there's a lot of options and opportunities in this. Any waiver type is eligible, whether someone is receiving home-based services or one of the SILA waivers. It just depends on what level of services that person might need and how we can best meet that person's needs so they can be successful in the community. Next slide, please. So how does the housing navigation program work? Well, you can get in touch with me. My contact information will be at the end. I will work with you to help identify your housing preferences, your needs, and your desires. Along with Opportunity Knox, they have developed a fabulous curriculum, which I am more than happy to share with anyone to help evaluate and get those conversations going to see, you know, what the future looks like for your loved one. I'll also help with the financial piece of it. I'll help explore opportunities within a desired budget to make community living more affordable. I also have access to enroll individuals on the statewide referral network, which is a affordable housing waiting list for people who might have a limited income. So people may be eligible for that. But even if you aren't eligible by chance for the statewide referral network, I'm continuing to keep informed of public housing waiting list opportunities that are coming up in Illinois, as well as formulating relationships in the community with private landowners who are also with us in our mission. So once a location is identified that meets the identified need areas of importance for someone, I can also assist with helping making a tour happen. I can meet you at the tour location, help you through the application process, and helping you identify the different documents that might be needed for a landlord as a tenant, and also assist with the moving process. Next slide, please. So this is a collaborative mission. I will remain in contact with your individual service coordinator throughout the transition. So at Suburban Access, you have your person who comes out every quarter to come and visit with you. I will also be communicating with that person as well to keep them informed of how everything is going with the housing navigation process. Once you have a place identified, we will also, your ISC and myself, we can also help ensure and help advocate for those services that your loved one might need and to be successful in their space. We want to make sure that these transitions are seamless. We want to make sure that staff support is available with whichever waiver you're receiving or will be seeking. Once that transition is completed, then your individual service coordinator will continue to visit with you in your home to make sure that you are satisfied, reassess how things are going to see if there are any additional services or needs that you have at this time. And if there ever is an issue that does come up, or if there are any questions or if your interests do change, we can always reinitiate support to help find another location or, you know, helping get some more of those service provider pieces in place as well. Next slide, please. So just some FAQs. These are just some things that have come up a little bit as we've started to go through this process. Again, it is a pilot, so it is ever developing. And we are finding out more and more information as we kind of delve into this. So I'm not interested. I'm interested, but I'm not quite ready to move yet. If you're still looking to move during the, or still like interested in more information during this housing navigation pilot for the next 2 years, please feel free to get in touch with me or your ISC agency to get some more information and to at least start that conversation. We can at least start the assessment process. I can help get you some of those tools for the home program so that at least those conversations can start to happen. You guys can start identifying what the future looks like ideally for you all. What if I want to move to a location that's not in my service area? that's entirely okay. As long as you're going to be staying in the state of Illinois, which should not affect your services that you are receiving now as far as your waiver services. And if you do want to move out of your service area, we can help and make sure and arrange that you're going to have providers out your way that will help you guys be successful with the transition as well. Next slide, please. What if my income is too high to qualify for the statewide referral network? That's not anything that would disqualify you from taking advantage of the housing navigation services. We can help you explore services within your budget to help make things affordable and comfortable for you. Is this opportunity available if a family is seeking support? Possibly. I can still assist if a family is looking to stay together but looking into their housing options. However, my services do not include helping with the purchase of a home, only for rental opportunities. And then the big question with transition funds. Transition funds are available in the housing navigation program. However, as we all know, everyone's needs vary. So it just depends on where the need is for the individual and how they would best utilize those funds. And we can help make sure that those get to you to the best of our ability to meet any need that you might have. Okay, next slide. So here is my contact information. Again, Veronica Garcia, vgarcia@subacc.org. Otherwise, there is my phone number at the office and my direct extension. Please feel free to call me, email me, just get in touch with me. I'm very excited to talk about this opportunity. I'm happy to go through this and meet everyone where they're at so that we can help move this project forward. Because I feel like the more people who know and the more people who speak up, the more that it's going to benefit everyone, even after this 2 years, to continue this pilot onward. And with that, if anybody has any questions, the floor is open. I am open to that. When do you encourage people to start?
So Veronica, so the assumption is you're off the PUNS list because you've already gotten your waiver, right?
Correct. But I mean, if someone does get a pre-selection letter and wants to at least start the conversation, we know that person is going to be coming from the PUNS with the next selection. So it wouldn't be a problem for me to go ahead and start at least those conversations with people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I do see a question in here. When do you encourage people to start the process with you? Whenever you're ready. I've come in contact with people who are waiting for another few years, but at least want to start taking a look at their options. And I've come across people who are looking to move as soon as possible. So any way that I could be a resource for any questions or, to check in where things are at with you guys and help move that forward at your pace, just let me know. And with that, I do want to mention that this process, it does take some time. Moves don't typically happen tomorrow. So almost the earlier that we can start the process, we can identify and get some more things into place to help make that transition for the future. And you have a question, can how does this program differ from services currently provided by Suburban Access? Our son received PUNS funding in 2018 and no homes have been available. So this is a little different in the sense that instead of it being a provider-owned location, the individual is the person who is signing that lease. It's the person's individual location, and the provider who is able to provide those services would be coming to that person's home to provide that service. I hope that answers your question. If you have any follow-ups, please let me know.
Are there any other questions?
A question.
Sure.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have a question because this is all new to me. If we have someone, an individual who maybe they're looking for a place, they can't afford it. Do you guys work with HUD funding or anything like that?
So we have the statewide referral network, which is an available resource that we can use. And it captures based on the income of the individual for affordability to make the situation more affordable. As far as it goes, to my knowledge, with HUD 811 and public housing waiting lists, a lot of those, at least in Cook County, are closed right now. But
Oh,
always refer you as well, if it's an emergent need for homelessness, to some of those continuums of care to at least see if they can provide any support as well.
oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And I believe at the bottom of the page, the home page on the OK website, there's a discussion about funding sources that might be useful to look at as well.
All right, thank you.
Does this pertain to SILAs, or is this only individuals renting apartments? This is mostly applying to individuals that would be renting their own space. The funding source may not be a barrier entirely to achieving those services and having that opportunity to live independently. I've seen situations where someone may say in home-based services, and then their personal support workers will come to their apartment. I've also been discussing with several people who receive the intermittent SILA funding, where they get maybe 20 to 25 hours of support a week. As far as the 24-hour SILA goes along, I have not come across that situation yet. I'd be curious to see how that situation goes about, but it's not necessarily a barrier. It just depends on the level of care that the individual might need. And then I see a question here: is Suburban Access and OK working on increasing the availability of housing in the OPRF area? My goal is to make this known to all of Cook County, along with my other housing navigators that are on this pilot. We feel that the more connections we can make in the community and the more discussions we can have around this, it can only benefit. So the availability of housing is hopefully going to increase overall in the next few years. I know there are a few different programs out there to help make development happen. It's just getting the right people in there to get those developments underway.
And I guess I would just add to that is, as we're working, our first step is to be a service provider. So the individual is going to be matched with a housing situation that works for them in the location that they choose, and we will provide the supports. So it's really, I think it's a matchmaking process to some degree.
Mm-hmm. And again, there are a lot of pieces to all of this. So it's almost like the earlier we start those conversations, the more we can kind of gather all that information over time for a successful transition. What kind of housing opportunities exist for adults who need specialized medical diets and support in preparing that food? Again, it just depends on the waiver and how that waiver is utilized. So if it is home-based services, for example, that personal support worker can work directly with that person towards meal preparation and encouraging those positive food choices. If it is someone that is receiving the ISOLA supports, it could be around the same. But again, we just have to remember how many hours of support that person might be receiving in the waiver of their choice, and how much support that person needs in their life. So it's really family and individual driven in that sense.
All right, okay, let's see.
Has anyone reached out to the Oak Park Housing Authority to have them present housing options? Actually, me and Phil have. We are currently working on getting something coordinated with the Oak Park Housing Authority. So hopefully, fingers crossed, once we are able to meet with them.
Any other questions? Going. There we go. can you define supports? Do you mean daily living support and job support, or arranging funding only? Do you want
Piece
to
in
hit
the
on that?
puzzle will be finding the location of where the individual would reside. And you would work with your individual service coordinator as far as defining the daily living support or job support wherever that person needs support, so that you can work with provider agencies to make your needs known and have your needs met.
Okay, I guess I'm not seeing any, oh, there we go.
I find more info on the 2-year pilot program. I haven't seen anything come from the DHS website yet. However, please send me an email. I do at least have some pamphlets that I can provide to you all with some information about the housing navigation pilot. I haven't seen anything from the DHS website though at this time, unfortunately.
Veronica, also, could you email either Topher or Phil with that slideshow, and we can put it on the website as well?
I'll forward it on to Phil, Veronica.
Okay,
Thanks, Claire.
question?
May I go, please?
Absolutely.
Hi, my name is Topher Zain. I am a part-time employee for Opportunity Knox, and I do IT support specialist and project manager. May I, if I was going to be placed into this living program, may I allow to still have guardianship under my parents' guardianship? Would that be allowed?
Absolutely.
Be-
The only thing that would change is where you go to sleep at night.
Yes, the reason why I want to ask is I still need a lot of support with my parents as an under guardianship right now, because in case something happens to me, even though like people with disabilities like go out at night, like the bars and things like I did many times, or something, if something happens to me, I just wondered if I was placed into this living program, if Opportunity Knox is going to have a living program, if I placed to live on my own or live with a group home or have my own living, I was wondering, do I still get guardianship support? Is that correct?
Yes.
And not just that, may I allow to get financial support for my under guardianship and other services? Would that be allowed?
I can't speak to what you might receive privately. I account for anything.
Like financial support, because I do need a lot of financial needs
Mhm.
in case
So with like the statewide referral network, for example, with affordable housing, I would be looking mostly at information regarding your income that you get for your part-time job, as well as what you're receiving for Social Security.
Yes, I receive Social Security income
Yeah, so I would be taking those together,
and in Illinois food stamps right now.
qualified.
And the
So
reason
even
why,
if you-
'cause- I'm sorry to interrupt you, because in case if my bank was on a negative and they close out my bank and can't pay my support of the monthly payments of the I think like the mortgage or the rent, that's something what I have an extremely big concern right now. So
Mhm.
I would like to do is if I not right now, but if I was placed into this program, I would like to still continue guardianship with under guardianship dependent support with my parents. I need a Social Security income, only food stamp card, that's living support, like able, as I think it's called Able that Phil introduced me, and financial and couple financial assistance, a lot of financials needs, like for like what they want, like monthly payments, like monthly of the housing. It's like I think it's is it like a mortgage or rent? Is that right, Veronica?
Yeah, so you would have a reduced, if it's with the affordable housing with the statewide referral network, it would be the reduced amount. The amount just varies from person to person based on their income. That's why I can't really give.
Oh, I did know that. And then not just based on the income, because other funds with the people like they need is like subscriptions, like streaming services subscriptions, like Chicago Tribune, like streaming service. You know what I'm talking about, Veronica? Like
Oh
streaming
yeah,
subscription, like
definitely.
YouTube TV, Spotify Premium, Netflix, Disney Bundle Premium, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Peacock Premium Plus, Apple TV Plus, Hallmark Plus, or like Chicago Tribune subscriptions, and a lot more, etc. And also they want to spend big money, like buying like a lot of big money, like Apple products, like a lot of electronics, like video games, maybe musical instruments. Like I like buying a lot of electronics, which I'm into IT things. Do you know what I'm talking about, Veronica?
I definitely get what you're talking about.
Because that's what I personally like electronics, buying some stuff on eBay. Some of them are expensive, and equipment, maybe some services support. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'd like to get a lot of financial support needs, because if you have to go with the loss, you couldn't get a refund, hopefully you get some money replacement. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I definitely get it. I mean, there is a little bit of a budgeting piece to it for as far as that responsibility goes. However, if you have that network available to you of support financially, that's great.
Because do you offer like financial support services besides parent guardianship financial support?
Through this program, no, we do not offer the financial support as far as assisting if you are short on your rent or anything like that.
Is there a program to support people finances, people with disabilities? Is there a program I could get?
There are programs that might be available. We would just take a little bit more research as far as that goes.
It's all individualized, Topher, so
Mhm.
there's some information about funding sources on the website, and Veronica might be able to steer
Yeah,
you
because
in that
sorry
direction
for
as well.
taking on, because my biggest concern is the financials. If I go with the loss, can't get my money back, that they're gonna be some stressing and upsetting like me. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, for
Mhm.
example, I wanted like a powerful high-end MacBook Pro for a lot of personal reasons. It's a entire variety of personal reasons, like program, my personal IT skill use, learn how to use deep programs and a lot more, etc. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think it's really good that you're thinking ahead on these kinds of issues, that what is important to you. And everybody has their own needs and wants, and that's where Veronica can help guide you on some of those issues that you've thought about. And it's great that you're thinking forward about that
That's
stuff.
what I want, like couple financials, like a high-end MacBook Pro, high-end iPad with Apple Pencil, and the cover that's like things like that. So the two things I want to buy, Apple expensive products that I wanted, and a MacBook Pro dock station, the accessories related to it. That's what I'm thinking that I wanted to get.
You might have to save your paychecks for some of that stuff.
That's the point. And I have like, but if you have like, if I live like that, what if we have subscriptions you have to pay, like YouTube TV, Netflix, all streaming services? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Mhm.
yep, we do.
That's some partial concerns I'm having right now.
Okay,
Topher, I think you had some really good questions. Those were great. So we can definitely talk more about that afterwards too.
Let's talk. Can we talk at the end of this, Claire, please?
Sure, that'd be great.
Claudia,
Thanks,
thank you so much.
Topher. If anyone else has any questions, you can feel free to unmute and just shout them out or add them to the chat. Otherwise, we could probably finish up here.
yeah. Well, thank you, everybody. I hope this was helpful for you. We hope to continue to involve you in your quest for supportive housing. And we will continue to keep you updated as we move along this path. So, watch your email box, go to the website and look at what we have on there. Really appreciate your participation here, and happy to spread, good information.
Yes, thank you all for joining us this evening. It's really exciting stuff that's happening.
Thank you. Good night.
Wait, Veronica and people, stay on, please. Veronica, Claire.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Okay,
Should probably
so
stop the recording.
would you stop recording, please, before we could talk? I'm sorry.
Yes. All right. Very good.
I'm waiting for the
Stop.
recording to stop, because otherwise